Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode from GuigLit. Today we are looking at how to write a grade 9, a top tier speech or talk as it can be known as well. I am so pleased to announce that we last week reached 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for everybody. There will be a little thank you video as promised coming out in the very near future. So for now, keep liking, keep sharing, keep tapping the little bell icon for updates, and our socials as usual at Twitter and Instagram are right there, so give us a follow, give us a subscribe. It is hugely appreciated. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so we're continuing our series on a non-fiction 5 today. What can you do with this video then, folks? Well, 3 things as always. Pause it, take notes, look through this. Today I provide an example that I have created in time conditions and will help you benefit. Okay, so really look carefully at it. In addition, practice it, okay? These skills improve with practice, so it's important to keep reading them, keep writing them, keep attempting them. As well as that, repeat, okay? Repeat watching these videos, keep going back through the notices, keep going back through the information provided. It's all going to be of immense use and importance to you. So, key facts, very similar to what you've had before. Again, it should be 1.5 to 2 sides in length. We're looking around the 300 to 500 word mark. You wouldn't be expected to count this in the real thing, but that's kind of the level we're looking at. In addition, always, spelling, punctuation and grammar are massive in some exam boards, and this video relates to all exam boards. It's as much as 40% of the marks awarded. Now, again, it's one of the 5 possible options that can come up on any exam board, so it's important to remember that. Approximately 30 to 45 minutes to write on, depending on what exam board you are taking. Make sure you know that. Is it AQA or Educas or Edexcel? Now, a speech does not mean speech marks throughout. That's really important. I've seen people think it means to talk, and it is a talk, but it doesn't mean you use speech marks at the beginning and the end. That's a little confusion I want to clarify with you all. So, what to do on a speech like this? A couple of things I want to run through here of real importance from all the years I've been teaching this. So make sure to plan, okay? I see so often students don't plan, and because they don't plan, they end up going down a kind of a dead alley in a way, and they don't have anything to go with, and it really harms their performance. Just 3 bullet points is a simple plan, really works really effectively. Establish what the purpose is. Are you persuading? Are you trying to advise? Are you offering information? The way in which the question is shaped has a massive impact on what you do, as you will see today. Make sure to involve the audience pronouns like we, us, our, your, they, okay, I. Get your audience involved, okay? It's a speech, you're talking to people, so the piece that you're writing should feel like you're talking to people. Also make sure to start by addressing your audience. Is it fellow classmates, members of the local community, members of year 11? You know, who is it? Really pinpoint that from the start, and it leads to a really successful piece. Engage your audience throughout. Try using anecdotes. Keep using those different pronouns, okay? Make sure that we are really clear on that. You know, we, us, our. Get a sense of connectivity to your audience through pronouns. Write from a persona. What happens a lot of the time is students think, oh, I don't know what to write, and you know, I have no experience of this personally. That's not the end of the world. You know, distance yourself. Write from a kind of an alter ego or a perspective that's not your own. Makes a massive difference. Mention, if needed, the 10%, kind of a counterpoint. Today's example will throw that up. You know, there may be an alternative, like an opinion you have to provide, and in that opinion you may, it's really good to acknowledge the other side that you are kind of disagreeing with. Finish by bringing the topic back to the start as well, okay? Gives a really well-rounded sense of the whole piece. And lastly, the simplest ideas are the best. The exam boards aren't going to ask you to reinvent the wheel with your points. They just want you to do them in clear, effective, detailed manners, as you'll see today in the example I provide. So, I put together an example task, and I've done it just as you students would, without any prior research, prior knowledge. I didn't Google anything, I just went with what was on the top of my head. So, your task is, as you see here, would be to write a speech to your year group where you suggest a charity for fundraising. So I planned this, and everything you see on this slide here is my plan. So, first of all, it's to your year group. Now, Is that going to include teachers? Could that include head teachers? I think that's a really useful opportunity that a lot of students miss. I think there's a lot to go with there. Also, it's year 11. I mean, you're going to be writing this for an exam, aren't you? So mention exams, mention your mock exams, mention the exam seasons, okay? Really important. And suggesting a charity for fundraising. Now, what charity is it going to be and why? So this is my plan. I just made it up, and if it exists, then that's pure coincidence. I just called it the Animal Trust in the end. I went with animal charity. I thought 3 reasons. First of all, they can help poorly animals in the UK, animals treated poorly, as well as animals that are unwell. They help to rehome animals, and animals improve well-being. So just general ideas I've started with, but it's an effective plan. It gives me a roadmap for where I'm going, and it makes my overall points a lot more effective. So here you're about to see the speech I've created itself, okay? What would count in terms of a top tier response, and I'll show you the ways you get to that top tier response through this piece. So here's our opening, okay? Fellow classmates, members of year 11 and members of staff. I've addressed the audience in every way I possibly could. I've acknowledged there will be teachers there. I've acknowledged the people in my class, but also the people in my year. Covering all the audiences straight away. Now we have the next paragraph. And I'm using a lot of pronouns, all of us, we, use of our again. You know, I'm really drilling into the people in the audience and making sure that they are counted and included in a speech, as a speech should do. On top of that, I've also got a mention of teachers as well, our heads out of a textbook and teachers out of your mountain of marking, continuing those pronouns, but mentioning the adults in the room, because they can be just as effective on an idea like this as the students can. So really important point to mention there. Then we go on to the next paragraph where I bring out the point and I bring out the idea itself. And as I said at the beginning, this is entirely made up. None of this is intentionally real. I said before, I don't know if the Animals Trust exists, but my choice for a worthy cause is the Animals Trust. So I just put it together right at the start there. I brought in something that looks like a fact. Since 1932, they have raised money to help house and feed endangered cats, dogs, and other animals. So it seems like a fact, so that helps. Notice the list of 3 as well. And then I bring it down to an anecdote of a Labrador called Biscuit, okay, again, completely made up, drawn from experiences from my own life, but again, it feels real, feels authentic, and that's what really, really helps. It's simple, but it's effective. And then we go towards this idea of just £1 and the difference of one and countless, okay? We have this idea of a simple fundraising effort could have a massive impact, just to tie up that loose bit on that first full paragraph, as it would be. Then we go on to the second paragraph, where I try to apply a few more different devices and a few more different effects to give a sense of variety into my piece. For example, I mentioned the 10%. Many of you in the room at this point may feel as though there are other more worthy causes. And again, that's good because it's within the main body of the piece now. You don't start with it. It's quite clearly provided as a kind of what I call a 10% or a counterpoint. In addition, I use a further anecdote, the idea of Biscuit being something, a pet that was rehomed by my parents. Again, it's all made up. It's all completely made up, but it feels real. Then I go on to my third and final full paragraph. And I begin by making sure that I connect each of my paragraphs as they go, because that helps to provide a real sense of continuity. So you'll see I start with the word lastly, and I continue the sense of anecdotes, giving a sense of reality. But within this, I provide these pronouns as well to help the piece feel more real. I, like many of us here, notice that sense that I'm bringing it back to my own audience in that regard. Experiences that you too could thrive from. So I bring in the idea of the volunteering aspect here, and some of you whom could be sitting in this very room. Again, making the speech feel like I'm saying it to an audience. The audience doesn't exist. The charity, to the best of my knowledge, does not exist. The experiences don't exist, but they feel real. They feel normal and ordinary and real, and that's the main thing. And they're all connected. Each one is interwoven. And then I finish with this last point here, okay? So, as I said in my key ideas, make sure that your last paragraph brings it back to the beginning. So the next time you feel ground down by grades or exasperated with exams, a little bit of alliteration. They don't have to have that. It's a bit of wordplay. It's a bit original. It's a bit different, something that people in the exam room won't necessarily do, and I'd encourage you to do. And notice I bring it back to this idea of stress and exams I had at the start of the piece. Really important. So before I finish up, let's go back a little bit more just to go through that again. Here you see what would count as a top grade response. It's clear as a speech throughout. It's clear in terms of its connectivity throughout and its linking. It's got a clear focus in terms of this made-up charity, and it also brings it constantly back to the audience. Okay, it's making it clear and true for them. So as always, folks, thank you very much for your time. Please keep liking, sharing and subscribing. It's a great help, and it really means the world to me. And until next time, have a great week. All the very best. Keep following on Instagram and Twitter, and keep following all our content for more books, beards and beyond. All the very best, and bye bye.